For the past 3 weeks, I've started a small series based on the new for 2021 roller coasters coming to the state of Florida. If you haven't seen the past 3 episodes of the series, I highly suggest watching those videos before you get any farther into this one. In my last video, we dove into Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind at Epcot. So now, let's kick off episode 4. Everyone has that one roller coaster at one of their home parks they have been waiting a long time to finally see in person. For Cedar Point, it was RMC Mean Streak. This dream finally became a reality in 2018 when the park opened Steel Vengeance. For Kings Island, it was the Giga Coaster. This finally came to be after 5+ years of waiting when Kings Island opened Orion. For Floridians, it was RMC Gwazi. When the ride closed in 2015, we were just waiting to see this dream become a reality. And in 2021, we will be seeing one of the best coasters in the world open. Iron Gwazi is a new RMC Hyper Hybrid opening at Busch Gardens Tampa in Tampa, Florida. Out of all the coasters opening next year, this one is easily the most anticipated amongst enthusiasts. Why? Well, it's everything you want on an RMC packed in one coaster. Insane airtime, snappy transitions, whippy inversions, lateral moments, and forceful elements. And now with the POV released to the public, we can get an idea on how crazy this ride will really be. Iron Gwazi will be manufactured by Rocky Mountain Construction, or RMC for short. They will be using their iBox track to convert this coaster into a hybrid. Throughout the past decade, RMC has been turning old and rough wooden coasters into smooth steel masterpieces. It all started with the new Texas Giant at Six Flags Over Texas. After this ride became a smash hit, parks like Six Flags Fiesta Texas, Six Flags Magic Mountain, and even Cedar Point asked RMC to redesign their old wooden coasters into powerful steel coasters. A hybrid is a coaster that uses steel track on a wooden structure, or a coaster that uses both steel and wooden track like White Lightning at Fun Spot Orlando. Since there are two different types of coasters, wood and steel, when you put the two together, you get a hybrid. Now, Iron Gwazi isn't your ordinary hybrid coaster. It will be North America's tallest, reaching 206 feet, only being 1 foot shorter than the world's tallest in Poland, Zadra. It has a length of 4,075 feet, and it is the world's fastest and steepest hybrid coaster, reaching a top speed of 76 miles per hour, and its first drop will be 91 degrees, making it the first ever hybrid coaster to have a beyond vertical drop. Without even looking at this layout, we can already tell that Iron Gwazi will be a show-stopping addition just because of its stats. Now, I bet you guys are wondering, if Gwazi closed in 2015, why did it take them so long to convert it into a hybrid? Well, there are a ton of theories on why they waited so long, but let me tell you mine. SeaWorld Parks and Entertainment, the corporation that owns Busch Gardens Tampa, has had a confusing past to say the least. A documentary known as Blackfish significantly hurt the company. Because of this, they had to cancel or postpone multiple projects. For instance, Mako at SeaWorld was supposed to go to Busch Gardens. Now, why it didn't is a whole other video. Some select projects at SeaWorld still ended up in the development phase and finally came to be years later. Infinity Falls and Sesame Street Land were the only 2 projects that ended up opening at SeaWorld. Busch, on the other hand, got Cobra's Curse, the last-minute spinning coaster. Now, why do I say last minute? Because Cobra's Curse was never planned for Busch Gardens. In fact, it was supposed to be Cheetah Hunt. Don't believe me? Well, if you look by the elevators in the Cheetah Hunt gift shop, you can see the original concept art for the attraction, and it does have spinning cars. Since at that time, Mac didn't want to invest in the project, and Intamin couldn't make that kind of spinning coaster. They decided to use what they had and made a Blitz coaster that ended up fitting the park really well. However, they still wanted a spinning coaster. They invested in Cobra's Curse years later. Now let's get back to Gwazi. Once Gwazi closed in 2015, the park already had plans to give it the RMC treatment. At the time, rides like Twisted Colossus and Wicked Cyclone had just opened to the public. Now the one thing I get confused about is if Iron Gwazi is 206 feet tall, and the tallest RMC at that point was around 150 feet, why would RMC and Busch Gardens risk everything to design this monster coaster? Well, it's because they didn't. They had to close Gwazi earlier than they wanted to due to wood rot and a failing structure, so they always had a planned RMC set to open around 2018. Why so late? Well, Steel Vengeance was obviously in the design phase around this time, since Mean Street closed in 2016. Steel Vengeance was the first RMC, however, to go over 200 feet. So Busch probably asked RMC to make a record-breaking coaster when they were already designing Steel Vengeance. I mean, obviously when you're opening a new coaster that is so similar to others, you need the records to draw people in. That's exactly what Busch Gardens wanted. Plus, we can get a better look at that. How? Well, Busch Gardens trademarked 3 different names a few years back. Those 3 names were Uproar, Tigress, and Twisted Tiger. Twisted Tiger fits an RMC coaster well, since there's already coasters like Twisted Timbers and Twisted Colossus out there. Since Gwazi was themed to a tiger and a lion, the RMC track would be following the tiger side of the former Woody. It makes perfect sense to have that name. And when they teased the coaster for the very first time, it had a bronze track, not the iconic purple track. And I don't think that was just a last minute change. I think that was because we were supposed to get Twisted Tiger. Now this is where it gets very confusing. Why? Because of Tigress. Was Tigress planned this whole time to open in 2019? To be quite honest with you, I don't know. But if I had to guess, I would say yes, it was supposed to open, just not that year. Since the trademark was made years earlier, and SeaWorld invested into 3 different coasters by Premier Rides, Tigress would have to be in the planning phase. I don't think it was supposed to open in 2019, but again, that's a whole other story. In the end, due to financial problems and time management, we instead got Iron Gwazi, which I'm not complaining about. This coaster could easily be the best RMC in the world, let alone the best coaster in the world. Now, let's get to the overall experience. When you walk under the entrance sign, you will be guided through the same queue you went through when the ride was Gwazi. Only this time it will be repainted and have a custom queue soundtrack. The queue will also have a ton of references to the original Gwazi. We can even tell by this queue sign, as it will feature a comparison of the stats of the original and the new Iron Gwazi. When you finally reach the station, you will board the steering axle trains and dispatch. The ride will begin with a quick turn out of the station and dive down a small dip and transition into the massive lift hill. After the large climb, you will dive down the massive 206-foot 91-degree beyond vertical drop. After this, you will then twist to the left and head up into an outer banked airtime hill similar to the one found on Steel Vengeance. After this, you will twist up to the right and quickly go through a downward 0G roll that Busch Gardens is nicknaming the Death Roll. After this, you will head up into a snappy overbank turn and quickly head into the 90-degree wave turn over the station. You will then transition into a quick and snappy airtime hill and go through your second wave turn and quickly transition into your 0G stall. Following this, the coaster will then again twist up into a small outer banked airtime hill and twist up into a small but powerful double down. After a quick turnaround, the coaster will then go through its final airtime moment and transfer you into the final brake run. In my eyes, this drop easily looks like the best on any RMC coaster, just because of how steep it goes in such a small amount of time. Steel Vengeance's 90-degree drop is pretty drawn out, and I'm speaking from experience. Iron Gwazi's drop gets right to the point, and you can just tell by that from the POV. The Outer Banked Airtime Hill doesn't look like the best element on the ride, but I know it will give insane airtime at the end of the day. The Death Roll, in my opinion, will be the best inversion on the ride. The train will go through this element with great speed, similar to Hulk's 0G roll at Universal. Plus, the way RMC designed this element, it looks like you might get a pop of ejector before you go into the Death Roll. Now, this overbank turn, I believe, will be the most intense element on any RMC coaster out there. You will definitely pull some insane G's as you go through that turn. And this wave turn will definitely give riders some great lateral hang time. From here on out, the only element I was severely disappointed with was the stall. You will go through that stall with such great speed that you will barely have any hang time. Plus, it is much shorter than other RMCs out there. But the airtime finale will easily be the best part of the ride, in my opinion. Just like Steel Vengeance will end off with a bang, with back-to-back moments of incredible ejector airtime. Now, I do wish the layout could have been extended just a little longer before it goes into the brake run, but with such great speed, it is possible to add some more airtime hills and even another inversion. In the end, Iron Gwazi will be worth the wait. The closest RMC to me as of now is Twisted Cyclone, which is an 8.5 hour drive away. To have an RMC a little less than 2 hours away from me is going to be amazing. I'm definitely planning on visiting Busch Gardens much more than I did this year, and you can definitely expect me here for this ride on opening day. I'm looking forward to this incredible coaster, and I can't wait to finally experience this wonderful creation. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed part 4 out of 5 in my 5-part series on the new for 2021 Florida coasters. Again, if you haven't seen my last 3 episodes on Tron Light Cycle Run, Icebreaker, and Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, I highly suggest checking those out. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe for new content just like this every week. Stay tuned for the final part of this series as we will dive into Jurassic World Velocicoaster at Universal Islands of Adventure. As always, this was Hunter from Theme Park Hunting. I'll see you guys later, and follow the thrill.